This is the Falcon Eyes F7 Mini, a compact rechargeable LED light that can display multiple colours, using RGB, HSL and other methods to pick your hue. Before we go any further, yes, Falcon Eyes did send me this product for review, but it is not a paid advert or promotion. The opinions are my own genuine, honest opinions. They have no editorial control over this video and have not seen it before it is published. Right, let's have a look at what we get. First of all, and it might sound like a funny thing to say, but it's a very nice box. You know, sometimes you order things and they just come in a brown, unmarked cardboard box with a paper label on it. This is quite a substantial box, nice branding and packaging. Bit of padding in the top of the box as well there. Yes, this is good and solid. It gives a good first impression. Quality control passed, that's always good to hear. A little thing about instructions, but I would hope I don't really need instructions. Right, there is the light. And let's see if we can dig it out. Okay, it is lightweight, it is plastic. How solid that plastic would be, I don't know. I think the weight is all coming from the battery. The plastic, I have to say, on first impressions, I wouldn't want to be dropping this or throwing it about. Magnets, I think, on the back. Test those later. Controls and a USB, presumably for charging. Thread for putting it on a stand. And a little display screen. Plus, of course, you can easily see the different LEDs there for generating the various RGB colours. Right, let's put that to one side because there is more in the box than just the light. I do always like getting a nice little case with a product. I know it's a silly thing, you're buying the product, not the case. That is good, little carabiner thing on the to attach it to your belt or whatever. Nothing in that one, but a convenient little space. And what do we get in the front? Ooh, okay. Bits. Ooh, got a few bits. Right, there's the empty space. What have we got? That is a standard. Is that USB-C? Yes, I think it is. USB-C charging cable. Okay, another one to add to the collection. About 18,000 of those. Look at this, you get a little, rather splendidly squidgy grid to go on it. That's rather nice. And this obviously is a similarly squidgy diffuser. Now I presume these just squidge on. Let's find out. Okay, I haven't put it on very expertly, but I think that's the general gist. And I don't think it's designed to actually... Yeah, there's a little gap between the light and the diffuser, which is a good idea. Okay, and let's try the grid on. There's probably a better way of doing this, anyway. Yeah, there we go. With space for you still to see the screen and access all the bits you need to. Yes, that went on better, didn't it? Okay, that's rather nice. Diffuser and grid, and what is more, if I can get that open, a little magic arm. Unscrew the thing, and you can wibbly wobbly it all around. Oh, that's rather good. And that actually feels... That's plastic. I think that's metal. The middle section is metal, so that's reassuring. Right, and the obligatory packet of silica gel. And that's your lot. In terms of uses, these little tiny lights are very, very flexible. The obvious one that comes to mind, and I say this as a former TV news reporter, is an on-camera light for run and gun news or documentary filming. If you've got some compact setup that you're just running about with, needing to film stuff as and when it happens, and you're in dark locations and you need some light, you've got no time to put up a nice lighting setup, you just need something on the camera, this is perfect. It's lightweight, it's nice and bright, it would make the difference between you being able to get a shot, do a quick vox pop with someone, an interview, or not get the shot. Plus, of course, there are loads of other uses for it. Because it does colours, for example, let's turn that on and there's a nice bit of green. If I want to make myself look sickly green, can't think of why I'd want to do that, but maybe I'd like to have a bit of an accent colour somewhere in the back of a set. It's got uses for that. There are also the patterns it can do, flashes, strobes, different colour, things like that. So if you're a filmmaker, it has applications like that. And even in interviews, whilst, okay, it's not strictly strong enough to be a key, other than as the aforementioned circumstances of run and gun, you could use it as a fill light or a hair light, an accent light. So these kind of things, they're useful to have in your kit bag because there will be little applications for them all over the place. It's very simple to use. You just press and hold the red button to turn it on, and then this dial here doesn't rotate. It clicks upwards or downwards, or you can push it inwards to change the parameter you're altering. So press, press, press to get to the parameter you want to change, and then toggle up, toggle down to change, whether it's the brightness or the colour temperature or any of the other parameters. Let's start by seeing the light in its simplest form, at full brightness, 5600 Kelvin colour temperature, and the only source of light on my face. As shown, it does not have the diffuser or grid attached. This is the same shot, but with the diffuser, which, to be honest, has very little effect. To show that more clearly, here's a side-by-side comparison. And here's a close-up of that comparison, so you can examine the softness of the shadows more easily. The final version of this is the light with the grid attached, but not the diffuser. It's not really designed to have both on at the same time. To compare with and without the grid, I'll toggle between those shots in full screen. You can see the grid clearly stops the light spilling onto the background. Shone against a brick wall in darkness, the light seemed generally smooth with subtle roll-off to the edges and no great blinding hotspot in the middle that you get with some lights. Fully charged, the light ran for 2 hours before abruptly shutting off. That was at 5600 Kelvin and full brightness. The same test, still at 5600 K, but 50% brightness, saw it last just under 4 hours, which seems in accordance with the prior test. As shown earlier, the unit has 2 small magnets on the back, but how well will it hold? The only logical answer was to slap it onto the front of my washing machine and start up a spin cycle at 1200 RPM. Rather to my surprise, the light held firm. The magnets are light enough that you can push it around, so I'm surprised it didn't slide down the machine as it span, but the outward grip is certainly decent. This light comes with Bluetooth, so you can control it on your Android or iOS device using a dedicated app. There are multiple ways of doing this, from sliding a cursor around a colour wheel, adjusting the red, green and blue components individually on an 8-bit scale, choosing from Lee colour filters, and Roscoe colour swatches as well. Very neat. Alternatively, there's a page of common presets for colour temperature and sliders to adjust the brightness and a magenta-green shift to the hue. Should you prefer, you can type in specific values for any of the parameters as well. Built into the light are a set of effects such as you might use on a film, including police lights, candlelight, a TV set, lightning and so on. Neatest of all is the way you can point your camera app at any colour, click the colour picker and the light will emulate that shade. If you don't want to use the app, the controls on the side let you choose all of the same parameters, including the scene selection. Here's a quick sample of some of them to give you the gist. Here I am, apparently reading by candlelight, though I can't help notice I have the back of the book pointing at the light, so my acting skills are clearly not up to par. Regardless, the light is a gentle orange glow that flickers every now and then. When I'm bored of the book, perhaps I'd watch television, the light here turning white and varying its brightness to simulate a screen. Being a YouTuber, I am of course chased by the paparazzi all the time, their camera flashes going off willy-nilly just like this. And I'm known for my crazy parties where my dancing skills are legendary. When the party becomes too wild, the police are called as I look on in horror. Alright, that's enough. In conclusion then, yes, I do rather like this little light. It's got multiple uses, it's lightweight, it lasts a decent amount of time, it's nice and bright. My only concern might be that because it is plastic, it is relatively fragile, I would suspect. I don't actually want to throw it around to discover what the limits of it are, but I wouldn't want to be dropping this from a height onto a solid surface. I think you would need to treat it reasonably carefully as you go around. But that aside, I think it's very good, and certainly for the price, this sells on Amazon at about £54, which in video lighting gear terms is pocket change. It really is, because lighting gear can be incredibly expensive, and certainly the Aperture equivalent light, because Aperture have one that's very similar sort of size and does RGB colours and things, theirs sells for about double. I think it sells for about £110. So for 54 quid, this is practically pick 'em up and throw 'em around howsoever you feel kind of money, and at that price, given the number of applications, I'd say buy one, maybe buy two or three. Very, very useful little light, and one that I am happy to have in my kit bag. Any questions? Drop them down below, and thank you for watching.